When you reside in a very small state, what happens in the surrounding territories is very important. The neighbors will either have an advantage or have to give up something as laws are enacted that change human behavior, as most laws are meant to do. You know, things like gas tax, income taxes, sales taxes, excise taxes, car taxes. I may have missed a few, but as far as I know, Rhode Island has every tax and fee that's ever been thought up. I thought I would spend a few minutes this week looking at some of the consequences of being sandwiched in by Massachusetts and Connecticut. I started with some numbers from that good government entity, the Department of Labor, specifically its Bureau of Labor Statistics. Thousands of well-paid government employees toil endlessly in Boston to keep an eye on the region's labor statistics. Staying with current numbers, I looked first at March 2015 to March 2016 labor force stats for Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Mass. How many people are we talking about? Well, Rhode Island employed 555,600 folks in March of 2015, going to 552,100 in March of 2016. Now that's down 0.5%. Okay, how did they do in Massachusetts? 3,586,800 working in 2015, 3,581,500 in 2016, down a mere 0.1%. Connecticut went from 1,898,600 to 1,901,900, a 0.2% rise. Atta go, Connecticut. More is always better. When I looked at the official unemployment numbers, it showed Rhode Island at 35,200 in 2015 and 29,900 in 2016. That's good, as it reflects a 15.1% improvement. How did the other guys do? Well, Connecticut improved by 4.4% and Massachusetts by a whopping 25.8%. They must be doing something right in Boston. The U.S. unemployment rate over that year went from 5.5 to 5.0. In New England, it went from 5.2 to 4.5. But in Rhode Island, we went from 6.3 to 5.4. Not good compared to New England. Now, feeling a little despondent, I decided to see what was happening in the Rhode Island border towns as far as the size of the labor force and unemployment was concerned. I thought I would be able to get a glimpse of life at the border. So I looked at who lived where and where they worked. We'll start with Westerly. There were 3,507 workers living in Westerly, but working in Connecticut. That number represents 31.9% of the 11,258 Westerly workforce, who are now paying Connecticut's income taxes. How about the other way? Well, living in Connecticut, working in Westerly were 1,664 folks. That's 16.32%. So the message is lots fewer dollars are flowing into Rhode Island than Connecticut sees from us. Lest you think Westerly is unusual, I looked at Cumberland. They had a 26.6% out and a 12.2% in ratio. Foster's 2,809 workers had a 6.7% out and a 1.8% in. Hopkinton lost 970 workers to Connecticut and gained only 146 Connecticut folks. That is 20.6% to 9.7%. What a difference. So it went, town to border town. Then you need to consider what the folks are doing for the 8 to 10 hours a day that they are not in Rhode Island. They go out for lunch, buy gas, get the dry cleaning, stop at Dunkin' Donuts, shop for socks, and on it goes. I will bet my next Social Security check, not very much, that every one of those folks takes advantage of the less expensive stuff in Massachusetts and Connecticut. Okay, so what should we be doing to help the situation? We can't change the state's geography, but there's a lot of other things we could do. How about jobs? We would like to be viewed as a business-friendly state. Since we are now at the bottom of that comparative statistic, we have to do something real and obvious. First step, vote in honest folks who can change the political culture. The Projo actually had some suggestions on the editorial page recently that I wholeheartedly support. Things like line item veto, ethics reform, ending legislative grants. I also like voter initiative and recall. Wouldn't that be peachy? We really have to do something dramatic or stay in free fall. Thank you for watching, and God bless.